I get up in the evening and I ain't got nothing to say.
If you go for a pee in Virgin, you'll hear this playing all day.
But you know, when you're hurt, it's also hard to get up there on stage and go, oh, I'm not really feeling it today. But when you see those fans singing back to you, it just makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah,
it really does. If I didn't have the band, I would probably be in a far worse place.
And I know that going into Masked Singer, you had this strategy of a few female bangers.
I remember speaking to ITV and said, please, if I do this show, just let me do my thing with the songs and I will guarantee you I'll give you some moments. And one of the things was, what have people not heard? No one's really heard that female, a male version of that song.
Yeah.
Even though I realised that All Coming Back to Me Now was written for Meatloaf. Didn't realise that. Anyway.
I mean, hats off to you, Danny. So Calm came to you, did they? Was it a result of the Jungle?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoke about it kind of a little bit in the past and realised that I needed, to go and speak to a professional. But that environment in there, you build bonds and relationships super quick, and you get to the bottom of someone's story so quickly.
Virgin Radio.
Oh, Danny!
Wow, what an intro.
Oh my gosh, nice to see you, man.
Nice to see you too.
I haven't seen you since you were declared crowned king of the jungle.
No, we haven't seen each other. I mean, I just want to say something. I feel so at home here.
Yes.
I just went to the toilet and you have Springsteen playing.
Yeah. Which is bizarre because we weren't playing it on the radio. So the
It's just for
Virgin
me.
Radio they pipe into the toilets is better than the Virgin Radio we broadcast.
I was
It's
like,
so
here
weird,
we go.
isn't it? It's so weird.
No, it's good to see you.
It's good to see
you. Look well.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. So do you. I've got a guitar here,
Uh-huh.
right? If there's
just
hold that guitar.
Yeah.
You don't have to play it if you don't want to. Because I heard you on High Performance with Jake and with Damien. That was a great conversation you had with those guys.
Did you? Thank you, man.
Amazing conversation. Really beautiful in so many different ways.
Thank you so much.
And in the middle of it all, you said, "Oh, there was this one song I wrote, and it was from the heart, from the soul, and it's a song that's never been out." I'm thinking, well, what's that song then? Because you must have all these songs that haven't made it onto whatever they make it onto nowadays.
Yeah.
What song was that? It was Lost something or other.
Did I say what it was?
Yeah, you did.
It was Last Mistake.
Last Mistake. Do you remember it?
Oh my God, Chris. Do you know what I'll do? Can I send you? I've got it recorded. I'll send you it.
No, you got to play it now.
Oh no, I know. I mean, I can't.
Come on, you're a genius.
Oh, it's not even in tune. You've given me a guitar.
That's
not
because
in
I
tune.
tuned it.
No,
Go on.
I honestly can't remember it, mate. I'm not that much
Last
of a
Mistake
genius.
sounds good though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was. No, I've got this. It's
Just
about
do a bit
7, 8 years old.
Just do a bit
Just do a bit of that.
Just do a bit of that. Just do that. Just pretend.
I get up in the evening and I ain't got nothing to say. There
If you go for a pee in Virgin, you'll hear this playing all day, but they're not on the radio.
Yeah, it was Last Mistake, and it was my version of coming home to a broken home.
Yeah.
For the first time, and it was
You wrote it from your mum's point of view, didn't you?
Yes, but it was, it's quite it's amazing you brought it up because it's quite a scary place to one, talk about it, but two, write about it.
Yeah.
Music allows you, it gives you that platform to be able to write about it. It feels like a safer place.
Yeah.
But talking about it now is to me showing strength, not weakness, and Barry McGuigan was opened the door for me.
Yeah, Daddy Bazza.
Daddy Bazza, Jungle Daddy Bazza. And through music you can do the same, but for me now talking about it as well, it's just important to talk, isn't it?
Put that down if you want. Put that. I know you feel comfortable with the guitar.
No, I feel really. I actually want to.
By the way, strum away whenever you want.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
For more info on anything we might talk about now and anything generally, thecalmzone.net. So you and Calm. Tell us about you and Calm, and then we'll crack onto everything else.
Yeah, so Calm, came about with me opening up in the jungle, and I didn't think I would open up there because I thought it was going to be such a place where you kind of, I don't know, you just wouldn't do that. And
you're on
obviously,
guard a bit.
You're on guard a bit, yeah.
You're being filmed the whole time.
Yeah, and seeing someone like Barry, who was the hardest man on the planet at one point.
Yeah.
seeing him open up about his daughter, I was like, oh, it's all right to be vulnerable. It's okay to show that.
Yeah.
And
what a great presence.
It was amazing to see that. And, you know, Calm just allows me to do that for other people. And the influx of messages I got and positivity around opening up and speaking out. And I found that talking helps me. You know, the facts I found out about, you know, suicide and not talking about it, you know, it's the biggest killer of men under 50. Yeah. But the most amazing thing for me is I didn't know where to go when I was suffering with my mental well-being. And there is a helpline that Calm have. Yeah. And you can WhatsApp, you can chat, but it's trained professionals waiting. You know, I always talk about I've been to therapy. I was lucky enough that Tom and Dougie had recommendations for my therapist. You know, some people don't have that. So this helpline for me is amazing because you know you can call and get help and talk, and it's all right to talk. And you know, I say in men we don't talk because we don't. I've not been brought up to talk about my emotions and in that way of like, I'm struggling, mate. I've always been the strong one, the brave one. Oh yeah. But actually, talking about, you know, when I go to the pub with my mate, I don't go, hey mate, how are you? And he goes to me, actually mate, I've had loads of anxiety recently. Well, you don't. We just talk about football. We talk about rugby. We talk about this. We talk about music. You don't get to that next level of conversation.
Or actually a bit of nightmare, but you don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a burden on you.
Yeah.
You don't want to know my problems.
Yeah.
No, I do. And I think it's not only about talking about it, but it's also learning about what do we say when our friend says I'm struggling. What do we say? How do we help them? How do we guide them? Do we just sit there and listen? Yeah, that's sometimes enough. But also maybe introduce them to like something to do. Like, why don't you think about creating those amazing chemicals in your brain? Go out exercising. Are you eating well? Are you sleeping? Just little tiny steps. Because I think we always look ahead and go, when is this ever going to end? And I think that's when suicide gets in the way of that. And it's all right to be a work in progress. Yeah. You don't have to be healed. Yeah. It's all right to be. I'm a work in progress. Yeah. You know, from all the trauma, from all the anxiety, I'm still a work in progress. And I think that's okay.
Yeah,
you know?
And you're such an optimist, you know, and they say that people who take the world forward, you know, great inventions, whatever it may be, great carers, you know, the real saints in real life or the legendary saints, you know, in times gone by, they are generally, you know, 99.999% optimists, because it's optimists that take the world forward, because you have to crack on, because you never know what's around the corner, you know, and in the end, day will always follow even the blackest of nights. Yeah. Day will turn up, because that's just what happens.
Absolutely. It comes in waves. Yeah, it comes in waves. 1 minute you're great, the next minute you're not. Something might trigger you. You might have an off day. That's all right. Yeah. There's nothing worse than not feeling in the room.
Yeah, I mean, imagine, for example, one of the worst things you could possibly imagine, losing your whoop in the house move.
Mate, I found it.
He's found his whoop!
I found it. I found my whoop. Now, are you into the whoop thing?
No, I respect the whoop.
I respect the whoop, but
no, I'm not into any gadget. I don't waste anything.
No.
And when I go running, I do it all. It's all the internal.
Here's the thing, then. Why do you run?
Well, I run because via osmosis, he got me running. Mm-hmm. Well, no, he didn't get me running. So Vassos was around, and he just ran all the time. And I'm like, he runs too much. What's going on with that man? He never stops running. And then one day, I was driving home from Radio 2, having finished the breakfast show, and I was driving past Virginia Water, and I heard a voice, and I nobody has to get on board with this, but I think it was a divine voice. Literally the words, park the car up, go for a run. And I was driving past Virginia Water, and I parked the car up, and I tried to run around Virginia Water, and I've never stopped trying to run since. And that's.
And how do you feel when you finish a run?
Feel amazing. Feel amazing. Yeah. You know, you're talking about the 3 pillars of what keeps you going, and I was thinking about that because you responded to it in something I was listening to yesterday, and I thought, what are my 3 pillars? And my 3 pillars would be sleep, what I eat and drink, and exercise. Yeah, because they are the 3 pillars of everything. You get good sleep, you'll make better choices with your food. Yeah. You get better exercise, you'll be more tired. You'll get better sleep. You'll better choices with your food. You make better choices with your food. You get more energy. You want to go for a run more. Yeah. You finish for a run. You'll be hungry. You'll eat again.
And that's not to say you can't have fun. You can't go out and have.
Well, you're an 80-20 guy. Tell us about your.
I'm an 80-20.
Tell us about your 80-20.
80-20, mate. Well, now being in the school system, it's a lot easier to get the structure of Monday to Friday afternoon. Yeah. And the reason why I say Friday afternoon is Friday night I am getting a takeaway.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think it's important to have.
It's fun o'clock.
you time. It's fun o'clock, and enjoy it. You're off. You're with your kid, because for me, balance is everything, and I like to be fit and healthy. I need to look after myself. I need to look good everywhere I go and feel good. I think it's feeling good is the main thing. One of the first things I turned to when I felt anxious was exercise. Exercise releases all the best endorphins, and it fights against that depression. It fights against that anxiety. So yeah, my 80-20 rule is just to try and have consistency, so it's not a chore. Yeah. I don't wake up and go, oh, I've got to go to the gym. I don't wake up and go, I've got to go for a run. It becomes part of my life, and when it becomes part of your life, it becomes a habit. You start craving it. It becomes easier, and life's great, and you start living it. And you have an amazing energy and love for life, and an inspirational one, and you must feel that now in terms of your running, the way you live your life. When it becomes your life, it doesn't feel like a chore.
It's the opposite, isn't
right?
it? We said this all the time,
enjoy
don't we, Russ? You miss out on a workout, you miss out on a run, and it's the same feeling as when you used to think, oh, I've got to go for a workout, I've got to go for it. It's inverse, and it's like the same with your microbiome. You can start to crave food that is good for you, as opposed to food that is bad for you.
Well, one of the most astonishing things I've heard is, and they've known this for years, that when you move your muscles, they secrete a protein, and it only gets secreted after you've moved your muscles. It doesn't matter what you're doing, just moving, walking, running, cycling, it doesn't matter, They secrete a protein, they call it the positivity molecule, and that protein can sort of protect your brain against anxiety, against depression. Yeah. It's basically, happy. Your muscles secrete happiness when you move, and that's scientific fact. Yeah. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, they do say the antidote to anxiety is action, is movement. Of course, your safe place and your happy place for years has been on stage, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've been going through some tough times, and you talk about all this, and that's why Calm have got you on board. Yeah. By the way, the helpline for Calm is 0800 58 58 58, 0800 58 58 58, 5 p.m. to midnight every single day, 7 days a week, 365 to 66 days a year. However, it's not all been plain sailing, even on stage sometimes. But you have had this outlet, haven't you, with these endorphins that Vassos talks about? Because going on stage is exercise, isn't it? It is being with mates. It is community. It is celebration. It is creativity. It is putting yourself in flow from a kid who couldn't write at school to a kid who now writes songs for a living and blooming well.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, I mean, in some ways it was, it was my protection to the world. It was my protection to everything that was going on outside of it. But it was also an escape, and something suffered in my personal life because I was escaping so much in my band. I wasn't there for my mum at the time. She needed me. I thought I was, but I wasn't, because I'm in a band. I'm having the best time of my life. How inconvenient is it that my dad's left? I'm in a band. I'm going to be enjoying myself, and I was the man of the family all of a sudden, taking these responsibilities at 17 years old that I shouldn't really be having. So yeah, the band were amazing. That's why we have such a great bond. We're like brothers, and it was a safe space, and I had an amazing release of all the good chemicals because I was playing to people. I was seeing people. I was making people happy with what I was doing, and it was an amazing thing to have. But when you're hurt, it's also hard to get up there on stage and go, oh, I'm not really feeling it today. But when you see those fans singing back to you, it just makes it all worthwhile. Yeah, it really does. And yeah, it was, if I didn't have the band, I would probably be in a far worse place. Yeah.
So you talk about strategy a lot, and you give things a good thinking. You really do sort of plot a plan. You have a goal. You don't have to reach the goal, but it gives you direction, the kind of direction you might want. It gives you a route map. You have an idea where you're going. Whether you end up there is neither here nor there. But to go on a magical mystery tour, it's best to have a path from which to wander. And I know that going into Masked Singer, you had this strategy of a few female bangers, right? Now, was that because the range was like magnificent and you knew you could get there and explode, or was it because bring the feminine into it as well? Or what was that about? Because that was a thing for you, wasn't it?
It was a thing. It was one of my rules. And I remember speaking to ITV and said, please, if I do this show, just let me do my thing with the songs, and I will guarantee you I'll give you some moments. And one of the things was, what have people not heard? No one's really heard that female, a male version of that song. Yeah. Even though I realised that All Coming Back to Me Now was written for Meatloaf. Didn't realise that. Anyway, in my head, I'm going, Has anyone heard that being sung with a voice like mine? And it was a big thing for me, and it was just to bring something different, something that had probably never been heard, and it kind of works. Obviously, the Clue song was Michael Bolton. I've never sung Michael Bolton before. That was a kind of a one-off, but it was that thing of like bringing that kind of showing a male vocal on a female song. Yeah.
Well, it's marvellous. We've been playing them all morning, by the way.
Have you?
Yeah.
God,
I'm going to play some more. Here we go
God.
again. And we've been loving these. He knows a bit of stagecraft, this one, doesn't he? He knows how to wind the crowd up and give it all the beans. Why were you Piranha? Because there's a cryptic clue in all the masks, aren't there? So what's the Piranha link?
Well, I had the choice of a few outfits, a few costumes.
Right.
And Piranha I loved the personality of it. I'm Pisces, so I thought, that's a good way to go. We have the same teeth.
Right. now.
Yeah.
Didn't Joel, didn't he chase me in Piranha?
Yes.
In the marathon.
In the marathon. Yeah, he ran the marathon for it. Yeah.
And he beat me in Piranha.
Are you kidding?
And of course I'm not kidding. Not kidding at all.
No.
I say I run, I don't really. Stella says, morning, Chris. I wish Calm was available in years gone by. It might have saved my husband, who died aged 44.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for highlighting this issue. Lani said, remembering beautiful Lani, this is Bonnie. This Friday's the anniversary of losing my 16-year-old daughter to suicide. It wasn't talked about as much 7 years ago when we lost her. So I'm really grateful for you talking about this and letting people know where they can go for help. Thank you for everything you do to promote mental well-being. I mean, hats off to you, Danny. So Calm came to you, did they? Was it a result of the jungle? Because I think out of all the people who've ever been in the jungle, and there's been some great stories come out of the jungle, and people learning a lot about themselves, I think the jungle did as much for you, if not more for you, than anybody else has benefited from being in the jungle. By the way, because you did the work and because you were brave enough to realise if I'm going to be vulnerable, actually, you can't get more naked than this. And if I can be honest here, I can be honest for the rest of my life, and that sets you free.
Absolutely. That you summed it up there. I mean, I've spoke about it kind of a little bit in the past and realised that I needed, to go and speak to a professional. But that environment in there, you build bonds and relationships super quick, and you get to the bottom of someone's story so quickly because there's no distractions. You're all in the same boat. You're all on the same diet.
There's nothing to eat.
There's nothing to eat, literally.
You lost 6 kilos or something?
I lost 6 kilos, it was crazy. And you find out about people, and I was thinking, when do we ever, in society, you never talk like this.
Yeah.
You never talk. The last time I had a conversation like this with any of my closest people or friends was when we went camping for 2 days, wild camping in Scotland. And the second night I remember going, lads, let's play a song. Like, why don't we play a song that means something to you? And one of my mates played a song that was happy memories, and one of my mates played a song that was sad memories. And I was like, I've never seen these emotions from my friends. So it's giving yourself that allowance to get to that place, however you do it. Just get to it. And what the jungle did for me, it made me realize that actually I've still got some healing, I've still got some work to do. I still have to understand where that emotion came from in the jungle. I thought I'd made peace with it.
Well, there is no end.
There's no end, right?
No, there's no end.
I need to understand where that came from, because it really came from nowhere. And it's hard. And like the situation I spoke about with dad and things like that. Like, what's crazy is that still to this day he's on the planet, and I don't understand. It's weird because we don't talk, and people are going to be in these situations, or they're going to have anxieties, and they're going to have hurt and trauma and things that happen, and you just got to realize that it's all right. It's okay. We've all got these things. We just need to be brave and show strength to talk about it. It's not a weakness. Don't judge.
Don't judge anyone. Don't judge yourself even.
Ask each other. Don't judge yourself. Exactly. Allow yourself. Owe it to yourself.
Yeah.
To be able to talk and give yourself that time. And this is why that helpline is just massive, because I've needed that sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
No matter what we think, when you say something out loud, it just changes everything. And you think, well, how can it? How can just saying a sentence or 3 words out loud, or talking for an hour, what is the difference between me knowing it inside and saying it out? Well, because it literally comes out, doesn't it? And that's what therapy is, I suppose.
It is. But what's crazy about therapy, and you might not feel this in the first couple of sessions, but when you talk about it, you start realizing how you feel about something, and it all becomes a little bit clearer, and then you get a little a professional their perspective or their kind of like a sentence that could change everything for you. You look at it a different way, and all it is, it's little steps at a time. Don't think you're going to get cured in the first thing. Literally little tiny steps that make the big step.
Did you ever think when you went for that audition to be in McFly that you'd end up talking about all this stuff? It's great.
Absolutely not. I remember speaking to Dougie. Like, I remember going to Dougie. I said, mate, I feel weird today. And Dougie said, me too. And it was the first time I didn't feel as lonely with having anxiety.
When was that?
This was when Doug was 15 years old. I was 17. Very early in the first year of being in the band. And me and Dougie had this connection of like, mate, I have this anxiety. I get cold sweats and I feel sick and I don't know where to go. And as long as I've got a full fat drinking and a banana in my bag, I feel all right. And I know where the toilet is so I can escape. And these things that, you know, Control. The what if question, the what if, and you get scared of that feeling then and you don't know where it's coming from.
Right, a couple of things because we've run out of time.
Yeah,
so you have the best clip on Instagram ever. You know that because I
Mate,
messaged
I know.
you.
You did it.
Oh my God, it was honestly still my favourite clip, and that's the whole of Instagram since it was invented. If you haven't seen Dougie's clip, I mean, what's it under? How do we get it? Just Dougie Massinger.
What the
What is it?
It's on my Instagram, Danny Jones Official. And it's my little boy when it's reaction, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I think I've pinned it. Hold on. Yeah, I've pinned it. It's the third one on there.
All right. Got it. What else? Oh, mouth tape. You're a mouth taper. So
I'm a mouth taper now.
Mouth taper.
Are you a mouth taper?
Yeah, I've been for a couple of years now.
Oh my God,
Thanks
amazing.
to Patrick McEwen.
There's science, right?
Changes everything.
Mine's thanks to Tom Jones.
Yeah. I know. Another dad.
Another dad of mine. A teaming dad.
We're done for time. Danny Jones, Calm, Campaign Against Living Miserably. For more, go to thecalmzone.net or call the helpline 0800 58 58 58, 5 p.m. to midnight. It's for everyone, and especially blokes.
Especially blokes. We don't do it enough, so talking is healing.
You're awesome, mate.
Thank you so much. Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Can we talk about the other thing? Not now.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Come on.
Okay, this is good. 10 seconds. Awkward. What do you want to do? That's us.
Is the other thing?
No, it's not Carfest. He's played Carfest a million times. Something else. All right, gotta go. Bye.